Moments after we taped our show last night, the Mad Red Hatter wrote, "I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back." You can't believe they gave me my job back. I can't believe we gave you your job back.
I have a fantastic relationship with Mexico, okay? I have personally met with the Mexican president. I forget his name. I think it was something like Mr. Guacamole. I'm sorry, excuse me, Senor Guacamole. I also met his beautiful wife, Taquito, and their twin children, Chips and Salsa.
Laughter. It wasn't a courtroom, a debate stage, or a press conference. It was late-night television. And in that strange arena, two of Hollywood's sharpest tongues, Jimmy Kimmel and Alec Baldwin, did what few dared to do: hold up a mirror to Donald Trump and let the reflection speak for itself. The result? A viral explosion of truth and comedy colliding in...
With an accent somehow makes it even worse, you know? They're calling our president the world's most powerful man baby, able to soil 5 diapers in a single bound. Other countries look at Trump the way we look at the running of the bulls. Like, what are those people, nuts? What's going on there? Today, Trump signed an executive order that will allow a group of investors to buy TikTok.
Judges, do each of you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We do.
Mr. President,
I'm good.
be seated.
All right. Thank you. First of all, Mr. Trump, you understand this is a TV court, right?
That's okay. I'm a TV president.
The moment unfolded on national television, broadcast to millions across America and beyond. Jimmy Kimmel, the late-night host known for turning celebrity chaos into sharp commentary, welcomed actor and comedian Alec Baldwin, famous for his scathing Saturday Night Live portrayal of Donald Trump. Their conversation began as light banter, but soon it sharpened into something much deeper. Behind the laughter, there was frustration, a shared disbelief at how far political...
left to defend him. Last night, I joked that Trump would blame this on Joe Biden's auto pen, and I was wrong. Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee did that for him.
I mean, anybody can do a signature. We've seen the auto pen's been used quite a bit, the Biden administration, so I've never known Trump to be much of an artist either.
Oh, well, then he couldn't have done it, right? I mean, he's not much of an artist. What are you talking about? He's an amazing artist. He's a con artist. He's a bullshit artist.
Donald Trump has always been a paradox in motion. To his fans, he's the self-made billionaire who tells it like it is. To his critics, he's the showman who never stopped performing. Even before politics, Trump's brand was theater, complete with catchphrases, feuds, and dramatic exits. He sold confidence like a product, and millions bought it. But what happens when the script no longer works? Baldwin's impression on SNL...
We know the check probably isn't real because Trump only pays women when they sue him, but you can see this gives you some insight into the fun hijinks and sense of humor Jeff and his buddy Donnie shared with their pals. And while our famously verbose president suddenly has no comment on this, his sycophants...
On that night, tension brewed under every punchline. Kimmel steered the talk toward Trump's latest outburst, another social media rant that blurred satire and seriousness. Baldwin leaned in, eyes narrowing as he dissected Trump's obsession with image, ratings, and applause. He's not a politician, Baldwin said. He's an entertainer who doesn't know the show ended. The crowd erupted, but beneath the laughter was recognition, a shared fatigue. Trump's presidency had blurred reality so completely that comedy became the only safe space to tell the truth. As the conversation unfolded, you could feel the irony tighten like a string. Here were two entertainers calling out the entertainer-in-chief. The laughter wasn't just funny, it was revealing. All
right, so your travel ban has been rejected as unconstitutional once again, but here you are. What are we doing here, man?
Well, thank you, Judge, or what do you call a lady judge, a flight attendant, something like that? Look, I signed a tremendous travel ban. I didn't read it, but I signed it. People took pictures of me holding up the paper, very official, and these judges have been very disrespectful. I'm right.
Comedy has always been America's truth serum. What reporters tiptoe around, comedians say outright, and that night, Baldwin and Kimmel said it loud. They dissected Trump's fragile ego, his televised temper, and the empire of illusion he built through spectacle. Baldwin joked, "He's the only man who can fire reality itself." And Kimmel laughed, but his tone carried weight. Every joke landed like a documentary line. Funny, yes, but painfully accurate. Viewers didn't just laugh, they nodded. For years, Trump had controlled the narrative through dominance and distraction. Now, on live TV, he was the subject, not the author, of the script.
Not an artist, he paints his whole face orange every day. No one's saying Trump is an artist. This isn't exactly a Norman Rockwell. No one is hanging this in a museum. Their other proof he didn't do it is the signature. They say it doesn't look like his signature. It sure does to me. Especially when you compare it to other Trump signatures from that era. They're almost exactly the same. They all end with a long D, which I can only assume is Trump overcompensating for a small.
What happened that night wasn't just entertainment, it was symbolism at its finest. Two comedians standing in for a weary public using humor as resistance. It revealed a larger truth about power in the 21st century, that mockery, when done right, can strip away the armor of intimidation. In a culture saturated with spin, irony became rebellion. Kimmel's grin wasn't just amusement, it was defiance. Baldwin's Trump impersonation wasn't parody, it was protest. Every exaggerated sniff, every pompous hand gesture became shorthand for excess and insecurity. Through laughter, they turned fear into clarity. The message was clear. When power fears being laughed at, it's already losing control.
He denied that he took cash in a bag, but he claims he did nothing illegal. What could be illegal about that? And we may never know if he did anything illegal because Trump's Department of Justice dropped the case. You know, they don't have time for this sort of thing. They've got real crimes to solve, like who hit the stop button on the president's escalator yesterday.
So when you put all of this together, it doesn't look like a coincidence to me. And I know that we have people, including the United States Secret Service, who are looking into this to try to get to the bottom of it. And if we find that these were UN staffers who were purposefully trying to trip up, literally trip up, the president and the first lady of the United States, well, there better be accountability for those people. And I will personally see to it, Jesse.
Good.
That 14-year-old girl is right. We've got to get to the bottom of Escalade Gate.
Then came the moment that froze even the laughter. Baldwin paused, mid-sentence, breaking character. He looked at Kimmel and said, "It's not funny anymore, is it?" The room went silent. For a second, the studio felt less like a comedy show and more like a public reckoning. Trump's legacy of chaos, division, and ego had reached a point where satire couldn't keep up. The performance had become prophecy. In that pause, Baldwin's voice carried exhaustion. The same exhaustion millions felt. The line between mockery and mourning had vanished.
Oh, no, I don't want to be Trump on TV. And because any time you have any kind of mimicry, it's usually somebody that you appreciate. You have some appreciation.
Right.
So they said to me, Trump, and I didn't hate Trump. I just said, I don't want to do that. And Tina and Lauren kind of pushed me, and I do it. And you've seen SNL. And the moment the stage manager takes me to my mark for the first dress rehearsal at 8 o'clock, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Really?
I mean, literally, the moment I walked out there, I just said to myself, eyebrow up. I tried to stick my face out, my mouth out. I was in the makeup room, they're putting my wig on, and it was like a scene from like a mental hospital.
Clips from the interview exploded online within hours. YouTube, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter, lit up with hashtags like #KimmelTruthBomb and #Baldwin exposes Trump. Commentators hailed it as the moment comedy turned into confession. Even political pundits replayed the segment on cable news, analyzing tone and intent as if decoding a national event. Trump himself couldn't resist responding, launching into a tirade about Hollywood elites. But the internet had already chosen its verdict. In meme form, GIF form, and viral caption, Trump's own language of attention, he was being undone. Ironically, by the same spectacle he once mastered.
And by the way, can you imagine if that little pubic scribble said Joe Biden instead of Donald Trump? There would have been another storming of the Capitol. There'd be torches and pitchforks going right up his Pennsylvania Avenue. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt slammed the letter. She said it was fake news to perpetuate the Democrat Epstein hoax. And the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, this guy's a beauty. He is in a tough spot because for years, The wingnuts have been trying to dig up dirt on these deep state pedophiles and their powerful friends.
The aftermath was both predictable and poetic. Kimmel's team faced online backlash from Trump loyalists while Baldwin doubled down, turning the clip into a broader statement about accountability. Satire, he said later, isn't cruelty, it's clarity. But for Trump, the damage was done. What had once been his greatest weapon, publicity, had become his undoing. The more he raged, the smaller he seemed. The late-night laughter had pierced the illusion. And somewhere between outrage and mockery, a truth emerged. The emperor had always been auditioning for applause, not leadership.
Whoever the president hates seeing do it the most, and that's undoubtedly you.
I say so.
Wouldn't you love to be in that room with him, watching you do him, and how mad that must make him?
Well, I mean, it's like, to me, it's like he's... So when people say to me, what was your whole gag? And you know as well as I do, because you're very funny, that you can kind of suggest the voice or suggest the way they look, but you got to try to think of who he is. And I've said this countless times, like to me, Trump was someone who, he's always searching for a stronger, better word, and he never finds it. So whenever you do Trump, he'll sit there and go, these people, they're great people, they're fantastic people, and I just want to say working with them was... And then he goes, a fantastic experience.
Years from now, when historians revisit this era of political theater, they may skip the rallies and read the jokes instead. Because in satire, we found the record of our disbelief. Baldwin's Trump became more than an impersonation. It became documentation of a national mood. Kimmel's smirk became a footnote of resistance. Their moment on live TV will sit in cultural memory not just as a joke, but as evidence of how laughter became language for survival. Every generation finds its truth-tellers. Ours just happened to hold microphones instead of gavels. And on that night, the truth didn't roar, it chuckled.
A birthday note. That is a signed confession. That letter is so creepy it should have its own documentary series on Netflix. I give it 2 hours before Trump claims it was written by Joe Biden's auto pen. And by the way, can you imagine if that little pubic scribble said Joe Biden instead of Donald Trump? There would have been another storming of the Capitol. There'd be torches and pitchforks going right up his Pennsylvania Avenue.
The greatest irony? Trump built his empire on being the center of attention. But when attention turned against him, it dismantled the very image he'd built. He became a caricature inside his own narrative. Every parody, every sketch, every joke, fed by his own words and actions, became a mirror he couldn't escape. The man who once said, "Ratings are everything," was finally rated by laughter, not applause, not votes, laughter. And that, perhaps, was the truest judgment of all.
I don't know, it's especially interesting. They're saying it doesn't look like his signature, and it could have been an auto pen, which is a device that makes an exact replica of your signature. Which one is it? Is it exactly his signature, or is it not his signature at all? It can't be both. And here's the other thing. This book is 22 years old. Who would have been faking Donald Trump's signature in a private birthday book in January of 2003? The Apprentice wasn't even on the air yet. This would require an extraordinary amount of...
When history blurs the lines between fact and performance, comedy often becomes the only truth left standing. That night on Kimmel's stage wasn't just about Trump, Baldwin, or even politics. It was about reflection, about a nation laughing, not because it's funny, but because it's exhausted. As the lights faded and applause echoed, one truth lingered. Power built on illusion always fears laughter most, because laughter doesn't just mock, it remembers. And in the quiet after the jokes, the audience finally saw the difference between a leader and an act. In the end, truth didn't need a podium, it needed a punchline,